Here is my 1999 Lincoln Navigator. I've owned the truck for about 8 years. A year or two after I bought it, Doug Demuro reviewed it. In this video, I'm going to give my ownership experience and a little bit more insight. I bought this truck for my mother. She loves this truck. She doesn't drive anymore, but I'm keeping the truck so I can take her for rides in it wherever we need to go. I'm very tall myself. I'm 6'9", so I enjoy driving this truck because it's big and makes me feel normal. Placed the fuel pump shortly after Doug Demuro reviewed it. Also, the oil filter adapter gasket was a real bear. This truck, I bought the truck because it's in great cosmetic condition. The paint on the top is really nice. The interior is real clean. I bought it with 69,000 miles. It has 84,000 miles on it now. I really think this is a great looking truck. It was somewhat controversial when it was first released. The styling of it with the Lincoln styling cues was semi-shocking to the industry. These trucks were very modern when they came out. Lots of curves, aerodynamic, very comfortable on the inside, very car-like. The Navigator was the king for the first few years after it came out. I think the styling has aged really well, and under today's lens, I think it's aged very gracefully. When they released the 32 valve engine in 1999, it was the second most powerful SUV sold in the world. If you can name the most powerful SUV, write it in the comments. One con to running a Navigator is premium fuel is required on the 32 valve engine. Of course, you get the dividends of lots of power. When the 32 valve engine came out, I think Car and Driver had published a 0 to 60 in the high 7-second range for a pre-production Navigator, and later tests are in the low 8-second 0 to 60, which was flying for a full-size SUV in the 90s. Some more maintenance I did to the truck is I went around and cleaned the chassis grounds. This is the main chassis ground here. I removed it, and with a drill, with a wire brush attachment, I cleaned the frame down to bare metal and did the same to the grounds. When I removed the ground to clean it up, it was a little bit loose. I think it wasn't running 100% because of that. Put some clear coat over it to seal it. There's another ground, if we can see it, that's under the passenger floor. I don't know if I can find it here, but I also cleaned that as well. It's a little braided ground cable. Maybe you can see how clean the truck is underneath. That's one of the good things about living in California. So you don't have to deal with rust. They're simple compared to the later versions, the later years. I really like that the shocks are not a coilover shock. It's just a regular shock absorber. So they're easy to change. The front two shock absorbers you can change in 15 minutes. Compared to the 2003 and later Expedition, they're a lot lighter. This one weighs 5,200 pounds. It's the rear wheel drive. A 2003 Expedition or Navigator, especially if it's all-wheel drive, can be 6,000 pounds plus. This has the 4R 100 4-speed heavy-duty transmission, so it's a robust truck. You know, you got a ladder frame. It's double A-arm in the front. The four-wheel drives are a torsion bar front suspension, and the four-wheel drives are 3 inches taller than the two-wheel drive. So it's a pretty gnarly truck if that's what you need, and you need that four-wheel drive capability. After a few years, the air springs failed. This is a two-wheel drive Navigator, so it only has air suspension in the rear. I went ahead and just replaced them with steel coils so I wouldn't have that problem again. This isn't my primary vehicle, so reliability was my main focus. These are the Strutmaster conversion springs, but in retrospect, you can use any Expedition steel coil springs. They ended up being kind of bouncy at first. Bouncy until they broke in, and then I also went ahead and put Bilstein shocks, and that helped out quite a bit. Did the GOTS mod, which opens up the airbox a little bit. I have a video about that. This truck had a lot of deferred maintenance, so had to flush the coolant several times. The heater cord just blew up, and right now I just have it bypassed with a U. This hose goes back to the rear heater in the back of the truck. To replace the heater core, I'd have to pull the dash, and I'm not inclined to do that at this point. I did put a bleeder port into the heater hose, so it's at the highest point in the system. These trucks are really hard to bleed, to get all the air out of the coolant, so that makes bleeding easier. Has new tires in a wider size than stock. They're a 275/60/17. The stock size is 255/70 or 75. And when I first bought tires, I tried the 255 tire because the tire store told me that was the stock size, and the truck felt like it was all over the road. So I insisted that we switch back to the 275 tire, and it really makes a big difference in the stability and the handling of the truck. I also replaced the fuel filler neck hose and the evap hoses because they were dry rotted and the filler neck hose was leaking. So hopefully that'll help the fuel economy a little bit. I replaced the O2 sensors, the upstreams. The passenger side was really difficult. I had to drop the exhaust down on both sides and sneak a crowfoot wrench in there. Interior is in minty shape. If you are around F-150s and Expeditions, you might notice that the Lincoln vinyl is a little bit more elegant with the grain. And of course the Navigator has this extra big binnacle over the instruments with the digital clock, which is not a big deal, but it's just a little bit more exclusive. My Navigator has an extra wood kit. I really appreciate the previous owner for putting these fisheye mirrors on the rear view mirror. That helps a bunch. You have memory seats, which I don't believe the Expedition has. Correct me if I'm wrong. The auxiliary controls for radio and climate are nice to have. Automatic climate control, Alpine stereo. I installed backup camera. Thanks for watching the update video on the Navigator. She spends most of her time staying nice in the garage. I love the truck. It gets very few miles put on it. There's still some other things I'd like to do. Some gaskets on the engine, the upper control arms, tie rod ends in the front end. I'd like to put a ceramic wax on it, some odds and ends, maybe some PDR, dent repair. So more videos to come. I also still have the 2005 Lincoln Town Car that Doug Demuro also reviewed. So stay tuned. Subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.